I'm here with Dan Davies, BC Liberal nominee for the riding of Peace River North in the upcoming provincial election. Dan, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
So recently you went down to the BC Liberal convention this past weekend. Tell me about that.
Well, it's the BC Liberal convention. It's held every 2 years, and it's basically where as many of the candidates as possible can make it. There are still some ridings that don't have a candidate yet, and members in general who wish to go down to the convention head down. This year it was actually a record turnout. There was over 1,300 delegates that were there. And it's basically an opportunity, first of all, to certainly network, get to know all of the candidates, and that certainly was good for me to get to meet each of the potential MLAs in all the ridings, as well as talk policy, listen to the Premier, some visioning, and so it was a great convention. And it was actually my first, so I wasn't able to make the last one. So I was certainly glad I made it down to this one, and it was a great event.
I see. So obviously a lot of the talk this past weekend with the upcoming provincial election would be around that. What were kind of some of the discussions that you guys had?
Well, a lot of it is looking at the successes that we've already had as BC Liberals. This province as a general is the envy of every province in the country. Overall, we have the lowest unemployment provincial-wide. I mean, up here, we are an exception, but things are improving. If we look at our tax policy, British Columbia has the best tax policy of any province in the country. In fact, I was just attended a BC Business Summit in Vancouver the week before convention, and listening to different businesses, different think tanks, universities from around the province, talking about the position that British Columbia is in, and how a good, stable tax policy is something that sets you up for your future, for everybody, for successes. And it kept coming back to how British Columbia is already in this field, doing it well. Looking at lowest personal tax, lowest corporate tax. So looking at all of these things that we have now, and looking at the higher unemployment or the higher employment that we have right now, and more people paying into personal income taxes. It's actually given a bit of extra money now to the provincial government that they're able to spend it on important things such as education, such as healthcare. So a lot of the discussion was around looking at how we've had our fiscal house in check, which is now, we now reap the benefits of that. So that was a lot of the talk that we had last weekend.
I see. So it sounds like the BC Liberals' plan of attack is to kind of fight the election on the successes of the past 4 years? Well,
certainly the successes of the past 4 years, and looking forward to building on those successes. I mean, if we look at wood fiber LNG that just is getting going now. This is BC's first LNG project. We look at Christy Clark has continuously been a fighter on getting this liquefied natural gas industry going. We've got our federal government now to a yes, and with Pacific Northwest, and hopefully now that we can start moving that forward. There's a lot of these things that we're going to be looking at, and it's getting British Columbia back to work. And that is really relevant up here in the North Peace. Fort St. John, certainly up in Fort Nelson where things are slow, getting people to work. Because if people are working, there's revenue being made for the families are healthier, your communities are healthier, and that's what it's all about, having healthy communities, healthy families, getting people working, and that's what we're going to be building on.
I see. So was there any discussion about maybe when the writ will be dropped or when the campaigning starts?
Well, the writ is dropped early April, prior to the May 9th election. As far as campaigning goes, there is soft campaigning going on already. Like I say, for instance, even this interview counts as soft campaigning. Meeting with different clubs and organizations throughout the riding. Talking to people throughout the riding. I've already got my campaign manager, Tamara Wilkinson. She's already building a plan as we move over the next 6 months. But when things really get busy, that'll be early April. So, but up until then, we'll just be plugging away, meeting people, listening to people. Like I say, 6 months, that's still a ways away, but it's going to be knocking on the door here real soon.
I see. So based on that soft campaign that you're doing, how receptive are people to the message that you and the Liberal Party at large are trying to convey?
Overall, really good. I've had, like I say, I've already talked to a number of people. I mean, overall, people like to get back to work. You know, there's lots of people there. I mean, this northeast section has the highest unemployment rate in the province, unfortunately. So people want to get back to work. And the BC Liberal Party is all about getting people back to work, getting a paycheck for the family, and people are very receptive to that.
All right, well, that's all the time we have. Dan, thanks again for joining us today.
Thanks very much, you. Appreciate it.